is Belarusian rubles, because no one wants Belarusian rubles. So if you win, you have to insist on the money you actually invested initially. Because if you invest in Belarusian rubles, you'll get Belarusian rubles. But if you invest in euros, in principle, you should get. A fourth of the population died, 25%, in the Second World War. And they made a monument. If you look to the right, this is the Mound of Glory. You know, they took an old tradition of the Greeks and the Romans. When a general died, every soldier took a handful of soil, put on the grave, and it became like a little mound. And this is, so to say, a mound that was built by all Belarusian people here on the right hand side. We'll soon have it on the left as well, so I'll take a pictures for everyone. And it's just remembering the sufferings of the Belarusians and glorifying the Belarusian army that defended the country so bravely. So you can see up there, you see 3 bayonets and representing each front, and then you can see the faces of the soldiers there in the sunshine. See people going up there, you know it, and very often on a weekend when people get married, they come out here. You remember how many married couples we saw in St. Petersburg standing by different monuments. Here it's very often war memorials. We have a little tanks from recent times, and we have the Mound of Glory up there with 3 bayonets, 3 fronts. Terrible destruction, you know. And when you look at the map of Belarus, it's like Poland, you know. It's flat land. There are no topographical hindrances. It's flat land. It's very easy for the enemy to very quickly occupy. Because this is a state run by a dictator. No one says dictator. We all know it's a dictator. But he then builds everywhere, and what they do looks pretty nice. Looking out to the left and to the right. Today, built by private companies, but as I said, they have to have good connections to the state and to the rulers. When they do something, they always, you know, do it. So if you look here now, they just built this pretty recently, and look here to the left and to the right, they already added a metro station on. So it's done with the approval of the state. So we've entered Minsk, by the way, so this is Minsk. And look here now, I told you that, you know, they make big, enormous mining vehicles. And if you look to the right there, you see one of these. They're called Belas, B-E-L-A-S-Z. I'm sure that, you know, I used them in mining countries, maybe in Australia, I don't know, South Africa. Big stuff. See the size of the car, it says that. And you see civilization has arrived here as well, in new McDonald's. And you'll see, you know, the amazing thing also makes me, because I read a book many, many years ago about the destruction. 90% destroyed. And then they were brave, and they managed to restore their city, and they even led and changed the way the river runs through. So, modern city, but a very nice layout, and you'll see a little bit of this as we come in, but you'll see tomorrow as well. Look at this unusual building. This is the Technical University. Looks like a ship. And they say this is the Technical University, the computer section. Quite modern. And then you see they built new, and no one really understands from where the money comes from, because it's always a shortage. But one of the reasons they build is because it's a different country, and this is a pretty solid dictatorship, and they speak Russian. So a lot of what's being built sold to Russians. You know, it's got a lot of money around with Muscovites and Petersburgers. And you know, here it's pretty well organized, very little crime because of the dictatorship, clean. So it's not bad. Look here, it's going to come out quite an unusual building. You know, if you look to the right, this is buildings from the 1970s, and these things were built in Russia. They look pretty poor, very bad condition. But this was built by the Belarusians. Same years, 70s, but here they did it much more efficiently. Nice workmanship was much nicer. If you look at, even got a bit of art on the short side. Look here to the right. And this one, can you guess what this is to the left? hard to guess. It looks a theatre, could be, but it's actually the state library. And you know, 3 years ago, National Bibliotek is that library. City of Minsk and other bigger cities here, but Minsk 2 million people out of 10, so 20% live here. So here, oh, these are Christian buildings on the right, but a little bit further on you're going to see quite nice looking buildings from the Stalin era, you know, from the 40, from after the war until he died, so 55. And everything that was built because everyone was afraid of Stalin. You know, was the carrot and the stick. If they did well, had a chance to survive. If they didn't, there was just the Gulag or Siberia. Let's see, we plan to make a little photo stop in a couple of minutes here because it's so much traffic on a Monday, so we plan to. It's a nice square. Let's see. So they have a couple of state department stores. Here comes one on the left hand side, and they have a bit around the hotel there as well. Not today, it's today Sunday, but tomorrow if you want to have a little look at what they have a chance. And very soon you'll see concert hall, state concert hall on the left hand side, and just across a very nice monument, you know, to a local poet here called Jaka Kupala, and he sits surrounded by his fictionary artists in his books. You look here to the left at the concert hall, but look to the right, it's a very nice monument to the local poet. So we're going to, whether it rains or not, we're going to make a short little stop here. It's a no stop, but police don't normally say anything, especially on a Sunday. And this is a Victory Square, and it's very handsome buildings around it, you know, Stalinistic one like the ones on the left. And this goes back to 1948-49, and it's a very typical square in a Russian Soviet city, because there is an endless, an eternal fire, gas fire that burns in memory of the terrible things that happened during the war, the sufferings of the war, and there is an obelisk. And in this case, you know, the city, because the Soviets, Moscow didn't have anything to give, they gave medals. They gave medals to people, and they gave medals to cities. And here you will see the famous medal, diamond medal. So you'll see on the top of the obelisk. Obelisk, you see that diamond medallion that was given then by the Soviet leaders in Moscow to the Soviet leaders here in Belarus. I was part of it, the medals. Look at the children's park on a Sunday, you know, it's busy. Look to the left. This is the children's park. Ferry, and look here now, the river, called the Svistloch, I think. You look to the right and to the left, it's very nicely meanders through the city. And new buildings being built for the World Ice Hockey Championships that's going to be next year. And you know, the president here, Lukashenko, he loves ice hockey and plays a bit himself. So, as they say, it's going to be where they lodge many of the players. We were at the circus yesterday. Every city in the Soviet Union of any importance had their own State Circus. So this is the Belarusian State Circus that has its performances to the left. You know, you come back to this central part tomorrow, you will have a good in-depth description of this and that, so just pointing out just a few things we're going to pass. Now we're going to go slowly past the hotel. Just going to do one little thing before. So look, Trade Union's Palace here. The president normally comes from, he has his presidential palace over to the left. Big red carpet on this main square, and he walks to the Palace of the Nations on a big propaganda thing. And you see the Palace of the Nation to the right. Belarusian flag on the ministerial building to the right there. Red, green, and not very far from there is the hotel. And this is where you can have your lunch if you like to try a Belarusian McDonald's tomorrow. Should taste the same in every country, shouldn't they? So we're going to turn right. If you look left on the corner building, very solid looking building with Corinthian columns here. This is the National Bank. So building is solid. I think this is a bit the way the country is. Looks solid, but currency, as you know, is not pretty. No one really wants to touch it except the Belarusians. This is the downtown area. This is where you can walk around tomorrow. So, you know, all these buildings, look to the right and left, these are buildings as well built, you know, at the end of the war. Very many of them by German prisoners of war. We're just going to make a little stop, just walk you over the street, and you'll see this memorial to the Jewish, that especially from this part, that actually were brought to these extermination camps, you know, walking naked to death. Children, women, men, not really knowing where they were walking.
Can't even translate how things are. What is it? What is it called? What is it? I don't want to fall, so that's why I'm really careful. Yeah, I'm sure. You take a little bit pictures off on YouTube.
So here you see a bit of the war memorial again, the colouring of this Belarusian state here just ahead of the bus. And so when we come to the hotel, take your hand luggage, you're welcome into the reception, and then we will have our passports ready. Then after dinner, naturally, we have a free evening, and I said I've walked around, and I always said to people when you come to Minsk in the evening, don't worry, it's a very safe place to walk. So if you want to have a little walk and see the city in the evening, weather permitting here now, please do. Look here, we're gonna come past, you can't see it, but screened by the pine trees here on the left hand side is a metro station, and just behind us is a square. And here in this metro station, you know, there was a hailstorm 10-15 years ago. There was a party on the main square. Behind us was a beer party, and the hails came and really, you know, hurted people. So the girls especially started to run in the high heels towards the metro station. They ran down, one fell, another one fell. The police officer came and said, stop, 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 you're killing each other. In the end, 49 girls, I think it was, and one police officer died. They just, suffocating each other. So if you go that way, just across, there's a very nice calash over there with horses you can sit in and take pictures just across little square by the city hall here to the left. But if you go a bit further, then you may see photos at the metro station there, and then you know why they happen. So here is our hotel, Europa. And I'll show you when we come in where the breakfast will be served, where dinner will be served. I think it's in the same room. Most exclusive hotel in Belarus. And we stay there for 2 nights. Okay, and remember, just up the street here is McDonald's on the main street with a lot of things, so easy as anything to go for a little walk. If you walk across here to the left, you come into the reconstructed old town. So it's perfect position.
Our country was in a part of Russian Empire because it was divided and added to the Russian Empire. At that time, even Riga was not a country. We even lost the name of our country because we were like the northern western part of Russia.
Oh, no.
Bus is open if you like.
At the Hotel Europa here in Minsk, Belarus.
some of those buildings of pre-war built buildings, they survived and we just renovated. For example, this town hall, which you can see near in the middle of the square, it's a renovated building, and this town hall can tell us about 5 centuries of our history. And exactly here was the first administration formed, the first court, and the city center of medieval city was concentrated here. All city life, political, economic, cultural life was concentrated around the square, and the administration of the city had been working in this town hall with the soldier on the top. And but during the period of Russian Empire, it was destroyed, and we've renovated it to show us how our people lived in medieval period. And every Belarusian square was surrounded by temples of different religions, because this is the just a part of our culture that people of different confessions, people of different religion could live in peace in the same period. We never had fights due to religious ideas. That's why I can divide this square. If you pay attention to the left, this is the Catholic part of this square, and there was a big complex of Jesuit community. And this wonderful Catholic cathedral, you can see it, Cathedral of Virgin Maria, dated back to 17th century. It was built here during the period of Northern War, when Peter I was making the window to Europe. And we were on the way to that Europe. And Sweden troops, they passed through our territory, and they've burned several cities, and they destroyed. And when they were in the city of Minsk, they were living here in the complex of Catholic convent. And on this part there was part of Orthodox and Union churches. This wonderful church with green roof is the main Orthodox church of our city, the Church of Holy Spirit. And here you can recognize roofs, old roofs, red bricky roofs of old monasteries and convents of Basilian and Bernardine community.
Thank you,
From the island of Chios, from this view to this island. And actually everybody knows about war in Afghanistan, and when we were in a part of Soviet Union, we've been involved in this war. And during 10 years, the soldiers of Soviet Union, they were participating in this war. This period started in 1979 to 1989. And 30,000 Belarusian guys, they were participating in this war. And 771, they've died on the lands of Afghanistan. Most of them, they were the age of 18 years old while they were serving in the army. So, and they were not volunteers, they were just ordered to go to this war. And their mothers, they asked the administration of our city to make a memorial where they can come and cry, and which won't let people to forget about such a terrible thing. And this memorial was formed here in 1991. Started from boulder stone with the icon of Mother of God guarding her son. And I will show you that stone. And it's written here. There is a speech of mothers that they do not want war to be anywhere on the earth, and they do not want
mothers to lose their sons in different wars. And we informed at the memorial to all the victims of Afghanistan. Now this island unites all the victims of different international wars, where soldiers fight for another country under the banner of another country and for idea of another country, and when they die not on the lands of their motherland. And this memorial consists of 3 memorial compositions. One of them is in front of you. This is symbolizing church with the mothers of those guys, and they look to the foresight of the earth. Still wait, some of them still wait their sons to be back at home. Some already lost the last hope. And we have a story of we have the real story of the new made story. The real one, if the bride and her wedding day will start angel, you can see this shining place. The priest, never one will take her son from the family. Even when it's happened by this island, Raymond is waiting for us to show us the rest of our city. Souvenirs, fabric, textile, and embroidery shop of Belarusian linen. On the right you can see with red signs, and our famous candy shop here with Belarusian chocolate on the with pink signs. There you can buy Belarusian chocolate, perfect quality and very reasonable price. We have 2 fabrics of chocolate, 2 fabrics, Kommunarka and Spartelona street of our city, and in pre-war period it was Zakharevskaya street. And this is from both sides of this avenue you can see architectural composition, which starts from Independence Square and goes to Victory Square. 4 kilometers of one architectural composition made in one architectural style. And very soon it should be added to the list of heritage patronated by UNESCO as a unique architectural style composition. And now we arrive to Independence Square, and I invite you to have a walk and to enjoy this area. Here, if yes, we are buying. If no, we never will buy. And it's surrounded by 9 emblems, 6 emblems. Sorry, because the country is divided into 6 districts, like Minsk, Gomi.
No, because I was walking sideways. I was like that. I don't know.
You went in.
I went down. I went down. Went all the way up to here.
Если не хочешь, тогда не получится. Я хочу. Слинявая.
Territory of Belarus. And to commemorate all the victims of atom, we were presented with this bell of angel. This is the exact copy from Nagasaki city, from Japanese city Nagasaki. And there is a holy ground put under the foundation of this memorial composition. From Nagasaki, Hiroshima, Fukushima, from Chernobyl and Israel. And once a week this bell, both with bells in Japanese city, ring at 12 a.m. like commemoration to all the victims of nuclear weapons. And it started to be a new tradition that you can see the flags of Kazakhstan and Russia when they stop trainings with nuclear weapons. Notice we are situated in the center of Europe. So that's why it was very important for us. To build a train station here. And opening of train station was in the beginning of 19th century. It's connected north with the south, east with the west. Train station building in Eastern Europe. Two towers with statues with decorations of common representatives of Soviet Union, and on the right On the right tower, you can see the coat of arms of Soviet Union as well as Belarusian Soviet Socialist Republic. And on the top of the left corner, we can see the biggest clocks of Belarus, which were taken from Berlin by Red Army soldiers. And the diameter of this clock is 3.5 meters. And exactly those clocks we see in New Year Eve, counting the last seconds of the year and making wishes for the next year. And in Soviet Union period, it was this street between those towers was one of the busiest one, and which is bearing the name of Kirova Street. And it's our location of a country and of the city is quite good, and one night by train and you can get to Moscow, Kiev, St. Petersburg, a little bit further to Warsaw, 3 hours and you are in Vilnius.
Is it easy to immigrate out of this country?
It's not that easy, but it's possible to immigrate. I've got a question about it. On the left you can see art gallery, our national museum, dated back to pre-war period. You can see those thick walls with and the sisterhood. First the sisterhood was formed there in order to help people suffering in that hospital, and it was their activity. And after that there was a spiritual father, they call Andrei Lemeshonnik spiritual father, with several sisters. They went to Metropolitan to Moscow, and they asked Metropolitan of Moscow to donate money to build a convent nearby that psychiatric hospital to help people suffering from different diseases, to help alcohol and drug addicts, to help people and children who really do need help. And Metropolitan of Moscow, he said, okay, this is 1 ruble for you. You can imagine, yes, the amount, 1 Russian ruble for you. This is the start for your convent, and the rest will be donated by people. And now you will see what was donated by people. You will see the area of this convent. You will see.
You are not nun up from the beginning, just from the beginning. You become nun only after passing some stage. And I'm a novice. I'm for 4 years in the convent, and I'm a novice here. And I would like to tell you some stories about the convent, about its history, and show you the most adored icons in the convent. Show you the church and tell you a few words about our life, about the life of nuns in our convent. Our convent. Maybe we should come to the church because it is wind is cold. So on the 22nd of August of this year, we have celebrated the birthday of the convent, and we have 14 years old. We are very, very young convent. And here is the main church of our convent. You see everything you will see here, the icons, the frames, the windows, and the pictures on the wall. All this is made in our convent by our artists. Our icon painters came to Italy, came to Russia, and learning the art of. So we are standing now at the main church of our church, but in project we have some projects to build a church which will be 4 times bigger than this. But it is in our future project somehow, because you know there are so many people coming there for Easter or for Christmas that the church cannot invite everybody. Somebody is standing outside of the church. And here are not only in our convent, but for all who come to us, who share the Holy Communion with us, who share the services with us. And you know, later, a little bit later, we will see a mosaic workshop. Come here, please come and see. our Lord Jesus Christ. And on this wall there is a picture from Old Testament. When Moses led people of Egypt in front of them, there was Red Sea, and Pharaoh was running, trying to catch them, to lead again to the Egypt. So this is our mosaic workshop, and you have a chance to see this beautiful mosaic and the church upstairs. This is made from such pieces, such little pieces. It was a really long work to make all this beautiful mosaic from very little.
Very colorful, isn't it?
Unfortunately, I can't show we have no mirrors.
We don't eat meat at all. We teach, and not every day. We teach except Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because this is a land. Today we have land. We have vegetables and potatoes or different cereals and juice, and this is the only eat we have. During the Great Lent, we even don't have oil. So now we are standing at the first church which was built in the Convent. It was in 1997, the beginning of the construction of the church. You see it is low, and you can admit that the images on the icons are very slim to make more spare, to make the religion of more spare. And this church is devoted to Saint Nicholas Wonderbook, the Wondermaker. You can see this icon here, and also the pieces of bread. So now we are standing inside the church devoted to Saint Elisabeth, New Martha, and Saint Barbara. You can see the icon of Saint Elizabeth on the right, and Saint Barbara on the left. And I will tell you a little bit.
New residence of our president. You can see. What do you think about ego? Of him? Yeah. We are shocked.
Yes.
We are shocked.
I don't think the White House is that big.
Yeah.
Because Natasha here, she says that you may be sitting outside eating, and I said I don't think that's possible, but maybe it's a little bit, so just take the extra pullover if they want to dance a little bit with us outside. You know, I haven't been to this, it's new for this year.
Good evening, my dear friends.
Я заранее прошу извинения за такую погоду.
Just excuses for such a rainy weather. So really do hope that such rainy weather will not spoil our evening.
Never.
Never.
И по старому славянскому обычаю всегда дорогих гостей встречают с хлебом и солью.
And according to the old Slavonic tradition, the dearest guests, they are treated with bread and salt.
И посему каждого попрошу подойти, отломать кусок хлеба.
Good evening, our dear friends and guests, and we are ready to sing with you and hope that you are ready to sing with us. And if you know any songs, you will recognize any songs, of course you are welcome to join these musicians and to sing together. Right?
Да, не стесняйтесь, пойте вместе с нами.
Yeah, let's sing together if you know. If you don't know also.
Ехали на тройке за бубенцами, а вдали мерцали огоньки. Если б не соколики за вами, да душу бы развеять от тоски. Навсегда ушедшие года и твои серебряные кудри да в тройке улетевшей навсегда. Как сквозь пальцы талая вода, только наша тройка годовая будет с нами мчаться сквозь года. Заходите к нам на огонек, пела скрипка ласково и так, и нежно в этот вечер я так одинок, я так продрог, налей, сынок, дома ждет холодная постель, да пьяная соседка в глазах, о, как здравствуй, старый друг, метродотель, мадемуазель. привет, Мишель. Сегодня болен я душой, так выпьем же, друзья, со мной. Сядем в мутнопёра за спиной. Посмотрите, люди, на его руки. Ну давай сыграй, мой золотой. Ты что ж такой, совсем седой? Спой песню, девочка, ну спой. Да про мою любовь, которой нет больше. Так шумит за окнами прибой. Пойдем со мной ко мне домой. Возьмем конфеты, ананасы, две бутылочки для нас. Сегодня болен я душой, так выпьем же, друзья, со мной. Заходите к нам на огонек. Белая скрипка ласковая игра. Нежно в этот вечер я на казино. Я так продрог, налей, сынок. Я так смотрю, у нас есть гости с русской душой, да? Есть, да?
Russian soul here, Ukrainian
Да. Что ж ты, милая, молодая, твоя куча так гуляет, и едет на романе, этого подпевает. А мой сусед у Сочи гуляет он, як кожа, а мы с тобою в лесе да над рекою. Гей-гей, отпочивайте в лёсы, як в гостином доме. Отпочивайте в лёсы, на синей соломе. Гей-гей, отпочивайте в лёсы, тело даже вороны. Отпочивайте в лёсы, будете век здоровы. Гей-гей! Вернулась я с Гавайев, суседка лечь живая. Сусед вернулся с мора, а нам всех воровы хворы. А мы с тобою в лесе да над рекою, где пригожусь такая, что вся душа сгорает. Эй-эй, отпочивайте в лёсы, як в гостином доме. Отпочивайте в лёсы, на синей соломе. Эй-эй, отпочивайте в лёсы, тело даже вороны. Отпочивайте в лёсы, будете век здоровы. Эй-эй! Отпочивайте в лёсы. Ах, под сосною, под зеленою, спать положите вы меня. Ай, люли-люли, ай, люли-люли, спать положите вы меня. Калина моя, саду ягода малинка моя. Калина моя, саду ягода малинка моя. Как сосонушка зеленая, не шуми ты подо мной. Ай, люли-люли, ай, люли-люли, не шуми ты подо мной. Калинка моя, саду ягода малинка моя. Калинка моя, саду ягода малинка моя. Ах, красавица, душа девичья, сердце белое залито вином. Все цыгане спят без холодным сном. Лишь один из них пьет шампанское на цыганскую, на цыганскую. Не встречала бы так, да не страдала бы так. Я бы прожил жизнь, прибивая жить. Вы искупили меня, очень черные, унесовинами мое счастье. Очи черные, очи жгучие, очи страстные и прекрасные. Как люблю я вас, как боюсь я вас, знать видел вас я в недобрый час.
Наступит то время, когда не будет никаких границ.
Once we hope the time will come that we will not see any borders between countries.
Мы будем обязательно ездить.
This song is about friendship.
Когда простым и нежным взором ласкаешь ты меня, мой друг, необычайным цветным узором земля и небо скрыты мою душу. Веселье час, мой разлуки, готов делить с тобой всегда. Давай пожмем друг другу руки и в дальний путь на долгие года. Мы так близки, что слов не нужно, что повторять друг другу вновь, что наша верность и наша дружба сильнее страсти, больше, чем любовь. Веселье час, мой разлуки, готов делить с тобой всегда. Давай пожмем друг другу руки и в дальний путь на долгие года. Когда простым и нежным взором ласкаешь ты меня, мой друг, необычайным цветным узором земля и небо выкидывают круг. Веселье час, вот нам снова все повторится, и тогда дадим друг другу слово, что будем вместе, вместе навсегда. Что будем вместе, вместе навсегда. Что будем вместе, раз и навсегда. Спасибо, приятного вам вечера, приятного отдыха.
be a border that was part of the Soviet Union. So it's like in the Belarusian borders, you know, it used to be a very little border because it was all Soviet Union. Remember the Baltic States, Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia, they were all part of the Soviet Union. 3 of the 15 republics. And today, you know, the border is much more surveyed because 2004, the Baltic States, all 3 of them, got what became part of Europe, the European community, and that's what they always wanted, you know. Russia, we've been to one of the biggest, or the biggest country in the world, and now we're going to go to one of the smallest countries there are, these Baltic states. Lithuania, about the size of Ireland, very small, and so is Latvia, and even smaller, the size of Denmark or Switzerland, is Estonia. And you know, they are all 3 of them called the Baltic states simply because they're on the Baltic Sea. Today when we come to the hotel, we have almost 40 of us going to the Folklore there. We have a lunch included. Those of you that are not going to the Folklore tonight, you have to look after yourself for lunch. And then we have an afternoon sightseeing and free time in the old town. And then around whatever, we'll see what the weather is like, but transfer back to the hotel. And then if you going with us for dinner, for the Folklore dinner, then you know you have no drinks and everything is included. So don't need anything tonight. And then tomorrow we're going to go to Trakai in the morning, but you know, we're going to go through first of all now the Russian border. So if you just make sure now you know where your passport is, and where that you have the little white piece of paper that sticks out a bit, and then you know they will go through our visas. It takes a bit of time, all of this, so expect it to be an hour or so, maybe longer. And normally they come and pick up the passports, and we just sit and wait in the bus. And then when we come to the next border, to Lithuanian border, then they have little toilets, but not here. Here's the flag. Yellow, green and red. Yellow, green and red. So we can see the television tower here now. And because we're not going to go down from above here, we come down to the Neris Valley. That's where we will find our Jelgava hotel. Comfortable hotel, a very nice view. I remember this, if you go to the top bar, Skyline Bar or whatever it's called, and a nice view over the city. Первые тур, знаешь, я думаю, 12 лет назад. Первый Trafalgar тур. Это я делаю Soviet buildings. So our hotel is in front of us. You can see where it says Olympic Casino, and just above is our hotel. So a little bridge here, or you can take another bridge.
That's all. That's enough.
And then some skyscrapers behind, and there's a big shopping center with a glass roof. So the name of the river is Neris. Neris River Hotel to the left. The beach volleyball there now to the left. I'm going to go over a very unusual bridge. So you know, our hotel is just over to the left. Downtown is just 10 minutes that way, so a very, very short walk.
They were showing the highlights from the game, and so they were there when some of the players
Okay, now to the right. This is a big shopping center just to the side of the hotel. Your hotel is just behind. And here we have one shopping center. Willow tree there. And then we look a bit further ahead and you see glass roof, that's another shopping center. So, you know, for lunch, so forth, it's easy. And that's for those of you having lunch on your own today, and as well for all of us tomorrow. So it's worth coming back here. Let's see if we're lucky. It would be easier, you know, to get our rooms now.
At the Radisson Blu Hotel here in Vilnius, Lithuania.
Yes, maybe I shall go up to them. Please have a seat. No, сейчас я вам
Like all the three Baltic capitals, consists of three parts. It has an old medieval part, which is quite large, about 300 hectares. Later you will go to Vilnius, to Riga and Tallinn, so they are 3 times smaller. Vilnius was the first to be included in the list protected by UNESCO. So it's UNESCO Heritage from 1994. Now, on the right, you see white pedestrian bridge which connects the new center. The new center is on your left. The building which is most to the right is our town hall, new town hall. Other are business centers, and low buildings are the shopping centers. So this is how Vilnius is built. Some buildings are medieval, some from the 19th century when we were part of Russian Empire, some from Soviet period, and of course some new when we became independent again. In front on the left you can see the bridge which is called the Green Bridge. How else could it be called? Because of the color. The bridge has the decorations, if we can call them so, from the Stalin period. You see 4 sculptures of each corner, and they symbolize the unity of workers, soldiers, scientists and peasants. And then on the right you can see some words written in flowers. Actually, the beginning of the phrase is on this bank, and the words say "Aš tave myliu," which means "I love you," and the opposite bank has the answer, "and me too." So the 2 banks of the river are in love with each other. We love also both banks of our river, and we try to decorate them in different ways. One artist built this brown pipe. You can see it has nothing to do with the sewage. It's just a piece of modern art. 100,000 liters we paid for this. We would be very happy to pay the same sum just to demolish it. Now we are crossing the river, and very soon we will make a first stop. We will see the Church of Peter and Paul. This is a pure Baroque church, because why we show one church? Because it's one of the most beautiful, first of all, and all the decoration in this church is devoted to peace. Even the inscription on the top of the facade says Regina Pacis funda nos in pace, which translated from Latin means Queen of Peace, keep us in peace. So now we leave the bus for about On the right to Jesus Christ, on the left to Holy Virgin Saint Mary. And the old city actually started from one place, from one center where the castles were built, and now we call this place the Cathedral Square. So Cathedral Square is our historical center. You see that the old town is situated in a valley. It is like in a cradle, surrounded by hills from different sides. And architecture corresponds to the nature. Most of houses are 2-3 story, but like architectural hills emerge bell towers, cupolas of churches, and then the colors. Also, in some cases, they make contrast. So from here, our walking part starts. We will walk down till the Cathedral Square. You can see it in my book. Can you? This document is some books. And from inside of the gate, there was this image of our Virgin. It's actually the same image, which is the services are similar like in Orthodox, but the main change was that this church belongs to Rome too, but not to Moscow. We created our own separate from Moscow. For Moscow, that was very big blow, and Moscow never recognizes this church, and they know how to say, from Rome when it was 9 years. There was a charity in Jelgava. All money which was gathered was paid for his education. He went to St. Petersburg. Next time when he came, he was 12 and he gave them concert, Thanksgiving concert to the audience. the liveliest street nowadays. A lot of advertisements. She or she was before, so when after election, suspended. General government, we are going every 2 years. now it's Kaliningrad, small part of Russia between Poland and Lithuania by the Baltic Sea, where we find most of Angle. So, Königsberg now is Kaliningrad. Right? This was the old Königsberg University. His name was Felix Dzerzhinsky, and he was the founder of KGB.
That's what I'm lucky that.
Don't forget to, maybe you all remember to turn them off.
Yes.
Great, thank you very much. Yes. So take your cameras, take a raincoat or something against there, because you know we're going to walk 4 blocks because the bus cannot get to the restaurant. You'll see why, and will not be able to pick us up right in front of the restaurant either. So we need a short walk. So just so you know for the scene. So 1:45, and then tomorrow I repeat though that we have a departure at 9. We have suitcases at 8. Almost always going to Trakai, and some people not going. Just please put the suitcase out because there's so many groups, and the worst breakfast anytime from 7, same nice place, and then at 9 o'clock we check out, we leave, and then we return, as you know, 12 for a little lunch break, and then at 1 o'clock ready to go to another country, a very beautiful city, a nice hotel, and the city is called Riga.
It was a good night, Fabio. Yeah, you always don't want to come along.
מועדון גיל הזהב, לטיול.
יולי לא יפה.
למה?
Cheryl? Expedition.
I saw postcards when we came in.
Huh?
I saw postcards.
Yeah, I did see those.
Labas rytas.
See, Tim knew the sun was coming out. I saw him resting, you know. He was waiting for the sun, right?
That was it.
During the Empire of Russian times, during when the Commonwealth country, Lithuania and Poland, yes, had war against Moscow during the 17th. And when that war was over, not so long
Towards 2 weeks of the tour and one forgets a little bit, so I thought I'll see what we remember together, and there will be a little prize, and then actually there will be one question: how many kilometers, how many miles we have done together. Almost 20 years ago, John Paul came here. You remember it was just after the Soviet Union had collapsed. And there's said to have been about 200,000 people on the meadow, and then 200,000-300,000 people. You know, came from everywhere, because I told they're Catholics here. So this was the 7th of September 1993, and that's when this was consecrated, this whole area. They used this for a long, long time, but it was really through the times of Soviet occupation when it really became something, but already before, through the 19th century. So it makes our day to Riga a little bit more interesting.
Gary. I'm heading that way, but I need the coin.
So we're gonna head straight north towards Riga, the capital of Latvia. And here you're gonna be ready if you want to take a photo. Here comes the end of Lietuva. I don't think no one says anything about photos here, you know, this is no border controls anymore. The frontier, the border goes left and right, but you will hardly see it. You'll see some poles maybe. But here, welcome, welcome to Latvia. Latvia. There's not border poles when you look down to them. And here's the border station, but totally disused. LB for Latvia. Used to, not that many years ago, we used to stop here, we used to change money, another half an hour or so, checking passports, but luckily, it's gone. So, the person that's really expert in this language is Raymond here, but he told me that, you know, to say thank you, it's Paldies, P-A-L D-I-E-S, so Finnish Acho and Baldies. Church coming up on the left there, the old church. You know, here they really didn't live side by side there. I rarely come here because the road works on the main street, so just go this way now. The old city hall here on the left, with a pretty building in pink. And look up to the left, museum today, but look up to the city. First president of free Latvia here on the right hand side. You look to the right to see his statue here. Janis Sjaksta, look to the right there. Important man, you know, it was the beginning of something new, and then the Soviets came back. Must have been very disappointing. 1918, freedom, and then 1939, these Russians came back again. All about used to be the palace, you know, academy today. Look at the left. Pretty. A lot of money here once upon a time. Very famous, you know. This was then, remember Kurland. Beautiful river. Look at them. There. So look at the size of the palace, look to the back.
So what is it now there?
Now it's an academy, part of university and so forth, but it used to be the Kurland, and they're very wealthy. Catherine the Great came to Riga 250 years ago. She didn't feel well, she felt a bit under the weather. They gave her 1 glass of Riga balsam and she's got her strength back. You know, she reigned for 40 years. On the right you see the Church of St. Peter's, where you can actually, this is the first one, the tallest spire, and then a bit to the left of the bridge there comes the cathedral, and another very beautiful church. It was called St. Jacob, with a green oxidated copper spire, and then comes the Anglican church. So you have a lot of churches, and at the end they have a Catholic church, and also not the royal castle anymore, but the presidential palace, which used to be the castle of Riga. So very soon all of you will see much of this as we come on to the stone bridge. know, the river actually runs. If you look to the right here now, you look, the river runs up streams to the right and comes into Russia finally, but down to the left about 10 kilometers I think it is, and then you end up in the Bay of Riga, which is the Baltic Sea. So this, you know, it was very cleverly put, this city, because a bit away from the open sea, so hard for the enemy to take. And today then it's a shame because they built this bridge. You'll see like a chain bridge here, but a modern one done by the communists, and it was too low, so no cruise ships, no one can come in and see this beautiful skyline. So it's very soon you'll see the different things.
I'll try it on your side. Yes, something else.
So you see the skyline again with all these towers, and you'll see them, you'll have them repeated again, St. Peter's there. And far in the distance there, those who are in the front, you can see our hotel. It says SS Radisson on the skyscraper.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to walk down here tonight from the hotel, 15 minutes, that's all. And St. Peter's in front of you. I think the most beautiful church. And the Jelgava River. We built a lot of things because this was totally damaged during the war. But we built a lot, and today many beautiful buildings you'll see tomorrow. One that ruled the city of Riga, and today on the right hand, this is actually the presidential palace today, being restored, I see.
At the Radisson Blu here in Riga, Latvia.
So Freedom Memorial on your right hand side, and you have now you see the monumental stela sort of rising from the this sort of Bernini-like composed bottom part. He has all these statues symbolizing family, education, defense, labor, you know, and so forth and so on. And the stela holds a bronze statue. See the top of the monument, which is an allegory of freedom. And the three golden stars are the symbols of the three historic provinces of Latvia. A bit sort of quadrangular building on your right hand side. To ignore the modern annex. So that's the Opera House in Riga. Really a fragment of Imperial St. Petersburg in Riga. Actually quite an impressive wall built to defend medieval Riga, to secure it from all sorts of enemies, and of the original 29 towers of medieval city wall, the only one which has survived. Yeah, but he was born in Riga in 1926. He's now almost more than 80 years old. Redeveloping this section of old Riga, which was basically destroyed during World War II. they made a sort of ceremonial official site with this big statue with red cobblestones, making a kind of miniature red square here. And this black building in the back of the square, originally dedicated to those black women. But after independence restored in 1991, they were not as highly regarded anymore. Now, what is the name of this brick building? You're right, it is called the House of the Blackheads. The Blackheads House, yeah. Why the Blackheads? The Blackheads, in fact, was a jolly guild of young bachelor merchants. Why would they be called Blackheads, although they were mostly German speaking? They were called the Blackheads because their Saint Patron was black. Just as you see the guy shown in the headstone on the right hand side. And notice, even in Vilnius, we have great many of our rock churches. Riga, this is the only one. So to again to the representation rather. And all the bricks. The oldest building is the white. You see the brick. Rostock. Yeah, Rostock. Yes. It used to be a member of Hanseatic League. Just like Riga.
This down here?
Back in the Middle Ages. And like Bremen is now a partner town of Riga, bringing the statue of animal as a gift. So also Rostock is a partner town of Riga, and actually the brick Gothic church we see here from here was built in 1410 by a master builder from Rostock. So in Middle Ages. Interpretation of and it was built in the 1850s as the Merchants Guild. Virtually, this is the place where all the married merchants were joined. As soon as them at the back of shows the start of Christianity in the Baltics. Architecturally, perhaps we must hold a few more meters of it as well. The building which might make this church better known abroad, it is first of all the organ. So in the late 1800s, when modernizing the cathedral, they ordered a new organ to be built in company called Walker and Co. in Stuttgart in West Germany, and Walker built in 1884 an organ with 6,718 pipes. At least at the moment the opening was the world's biggest organ. Just to cheer up at the end of our tour, right? But not to offend anybody who's not, or not to make anybody who's not American to feel inferior. But look, Australia, these are three historic dwelling houses of local merchants built next to each other with a time span of 300 years. The white one, in fact, is original Gothic medieval residence, where we would recognize by now the stepped gable, robust gable. And as for the Blackhead house, only the ground floor will be inhabited. And of course, Tallinn is a die-hard Protestant place. Riga we still have some Catholics. Predominantly. What you are taking pictures of here is a complex of an 18th century Catholic church of Our Lady of Sorrows and a nunnery next to it. Also 18th century. And the castle. It is really a medieval fortification, but having been reconstructed so many times, it has lost its...
To the right, this is all the city centre, and very soon you see a
up here towards the museum entrance, the first panel shows the name of the museum. It's lovely design with a rough back in 1705. So, in other words, it was built by this rich landlord who owes not just hundreds of hectares of land, but also peasants in the museum. But in early 1990s, it was reconsecrated and now operates as a regular Lutheran church with choir of angels in heaven rejoicing and playing harps and souls and or just baroque trumpets. And dovetailing on the corners, yes. And weaving in all the slave labor and precious works.
Where do you want to go?
Normally we would imagine the doors of the granary are locked, right? So doors of the granary are made especially adapted for post windmills. Actually, the whole building is hanging on a massive oak pivot anchored as a central axe. And in order to face building of the mill to the wind, the miller would turn the whole building.
George's got a Tudor-style building, which is made 17th century storehouse. And then you see the whole farm here, which is differently to other places, composed of just a random selection of all sorts of small structures.
Then you see cruise ship stacking.
Yes.
Where's your mate? You're all by yourself. Did they leave you behind? Gary. Gary.
Put the ice in Aglu?
Yep.
Yes. As well as the girl is making a nail. She's making a noise.
I was getting it before I got to a shop.
What are you see? By cutting something like horse heads out of the ends of them. Very. This idea of making functional thing aesthetic is a kind of common thing here for the whole.
It's just a straight road up to Tallinn, and it's always nice to do something, and I thought we could, after coffee there, maybe have a little quiz and remember things together, what we did.
At the Radisson Blu Hotel here in Tallinn, Estonia.
But already in the early 20th century, so the concert site was moved to Tallinn, and this area was specifically built for the song festivals in 1960. So the first song festival, or the next song festival, will be held in the year 2014, and they take place every 5 years' time. So you can get approximately 30,000 singers under it, and plus on the platform in front of it another 20,000. So you can have about a concert which has 50,000 performers, plus another, let's say, 70,000 which are here on the slopes. But so besides the song festival, also it's used as a concert ground, and really the first international act to reach Estonia was in, I think, 1996, Michael Jackson, rest in peace. But we also had the Rolling Stones, Tina Turner, and other international acts perform. And about this gentleman here, so he's called Gustav Ernesaks, one of the most famous Estonian composers and also the main conductor for the song festivals. So his active period was from the 1950s up till, I think he died in the early 90s. So he was a very, very beloved man among the Estonians, and also all the different choirs loved him as well. So when he rose to the conductor pedestal, then there was always a very, very huge applause.
Ready to go.
Okay, okay.
Sit up.
In 1980, then the Olympic Games were held in Moscow, but the Olympic regatta then was held on the Bay of Tallinn. And so we can see that this, the Olympic Games for Estonia was a sort of a blessing, or for Tallinn at least, because they knew that there would be a lot of foreign tourists coming to Estonia or to Tallinn, so therefore they had to really renovate the infrastructure. So there was a new airport built for Tallinn, new roads, new hotel buildings, and also this Olympic complex just behind us, which right now works as a hotel. And well, sports in Estonia nowadays, then remember the population is rather small, so this means that in team sports Estonia really can't excel, because Tallinn or Estonia on the if we take geography, then really it is situated in the middle of Hudson Bay, so like northern Canada, so or southern Alaska then, so that temperature. So we have reached Tallinn Old Town, which is made up of two parts, the upper part and the lower part. And so the upper part is also known as the Dome Hill, or in Estonian Toompea. So this is where we're right now situated. And we can say that the history of Tallinn also starts in this place. So the early settlers, or the Warsaw settlement already here in the 12th century. And as you remember from the history part from the bus, in the early 13th century, Estonia was occupied by the Danes. And then they started this 700-year of occupation rule. So the different rulers, because this is a natural limestone plateau, again adopted this as their fortification. So besides the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, we also have another big church on the Dome Hill. So this is called the Dome Church, and can be considered one of the oldest churches in Estonia. So dating back to the early 13th century, founded by the Danes. And at the time, so in the 15th century, it was really a great cathedral. But unfortunately, as most of the buildings in the upper town were made of wood, although the church was wood, made of stone. But in the late 17th century, so about 350 years ago, there was a big fire in the upper part, and so most of the original buildings were destroyed, including this church building. So this is just what was rebuilt then in the early 18th century. But this is still an active church and the main Lutheran church of Estonia. But as I said, Estonians on the whole are not that religious. So they do go to church, let's say, during Easter, during Christmas, but this has more of a symbolic value. So it isn't really going there, well, every Sunday. And so this is also, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful churches. So as you go inside, then you will notice that on the walls there are many coat of arms. So as Estonia had at that time, so being part of Sweden and of Russia and of Germany, many Baltic German nobility families or the gentry lived either in Estonia and in Tallinn as well, so in the upper part.
Sorry. Quick, very nice.
Done.
So if the upper town was a place for the gentry and for the Bergi, then this lower town was the merchant town. So the typical German merchant town, similar to Lübeck and Hamburg in Germany. So the city rights were already in the 13th century and became a very prosperous town. So nowadays,
It's too close.
Joo, niin on. Joo, sitten tuli muuten aika jännä. Piti tuolla aaveella hakea ja sillä ei lähikuva. Haluan ton härmäkkeen ostamaan.
Давай, Илюша, иди. Ну что? Ксюху возьмите.
Надо на другую смотреть.
Антош, посмотри, что там.
Yeah.
Something smells good down there. Yeah, it does smell
Superstar, we want the star.
Yeah, but it's cool. Yeah, cool, that's cool.
6-hour flight to Warsaw. Belarus operates despite a strong service with American Airlines. Your flight today is operated by Bergi. The captain of this Emperor 190 aircraft is Mr. Kalle Moisio, and the flight time is approximately 1 hour and 25 minutes. We wish you all a very pleasant time with us this morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this dinner flight to Warsaw. This is your captain. We are just now over Poland, and flight time is about 30 minutes to Warsaw airfield. Weather there is sky is clear, wind is calm, and plus 50 degrees Celsius. I wish you a pleasant flight.
Welcome to Warsaw. Please remain seated and keep your seatbelts fastened until the seatbelt sign has been switched off. We hope that you have enjoyed this one-more flight with us today, and on behalf of the whole crew, I would like to wish you a pleasant day. Thank you and welcome aboard again.
At the Marriott Hotel here in Warsaw, Poland. This is a corner suite.
it's going to be the Palace of Culture and Science. And the Palace of Culture and Science is having two titles right now. The first title that it holds is that it is the symbol of Warsaw. The second place, second title I mean, of that structure is that it is the unwanted gift from the great Mother Russia. Let's say, given a gift that we've paid for without having anything to say about the shape of its design. So this is why it's a bit of an unwanted one. So, what is the schedule of our sightseeing route? We're going to visit three main places in the city, which the first place is going to be the Royal Łazienki Park, and that is a place that is one of the most peaceful and most pleasant places to see in that city. The second place, after a visit in the park, will be going towards the Jewish ghetto part of Warsaw. So the Jewish ghetto part of the city is maybe not really having a very pleasant story, but altogether, as you are in a place that there was the biggest Jewish ghetto created that was ever existing, then I believe it's just a very fruitful idea to take a look at that place. The place after the Jewish ghetto, it is of course going to be the Old Town territory, which the Old Town is a place that every single person is coming to visit, and it is a main touristic spot, you may say. You're having all the most important, most recognizable Polish restaurants set out there, and of course the places like souvenir shops and let's say galleries with some typical Polish goods. During the war, this city suffers a lot. And when I'm saying this, I'm meaning that 86% of buildings are completely not usable after the year of 1945. And we are right now driving throughout a place which is quite unique for that city, as these buildings that are to the left and right sides of yours, these are the original examples of buildings that are were being here all around the place, visible if you were to imagine that Second World War had never happened. And right now the question appears, what is so special about that place that it was not destroyed, that it has survived? And the reason is that the Nazi officers were having their headquarters set in here. Then, to the right side of yours, that is the only modern structure in that street. Could you tell which country embassy was that? So, the United States of America. Yes, indeed. The thing is that you're having the flag of the European Union and the Polish one waving just in front of it. And altogether, as you can see that the whole place is guarded by the soldiers, then that means that this is something extraordinary, something very important. So this was the Embassy of Russia. And one thing which is very interesting is that the very next property, the next structure as well, the yellow one to the left in here, that is the Polish Ministry of Defense. So looking from a perspective of Polish history, that is indeed quite funny. These two facilities are located right next to each other. Then to the right, just for another time, the place where the President of Poland is living. It's called as the Belvedere, and there is always a Polish flag waving on the top. And previously, before the Polish pianist and composer that was so far ever born within these lands, and of course I'm speaking about Frederick Chopin. And so to start with something, I would like to give you the interpretation of that man. And so Frederick Chopin is having a very characteristic gesture with his fingers, just as if he's playing the piano. So Frederick Chopin's hand, then his head is turned to the left, and he's having his eyes closed. So that means that he's concentrating to play the tunes in a perfect way. And then another information is that everything in the sculpture is presented while a very strong wind is blowing. So you can see that Frederick Chopin's robe is having these marks of waves, that his hair is put into one direction as well. And the key thing is that the tree that Frederick is sitting under, because that is the tree It's called as the Weeping Willow additionally.
Still very peaceful and very
Then that is a place that is going to be out of use. And then after the summer residence is already erected, then we are having that place turned into a guest house. That the king was really fascinated with the culture of Orient. Actually, he was very fascinated with everything that was connected with fashion, trends, and culture in a very wide range of perceiving that way. So altogether, China was the second biggest country, except from the US. Very precise that all the lanterns are supposed to go without even 1 centimeter of anomaly. So this is, let's say, the Polish interpretation, because so everything what you see is designed and created as a request of the king, which I'm speaking about the palace, about the island that the palace is standing on, about the lake which is in front, as well as the one which is at the back. But then you're having an amphitheater out there straight ahead, and the amphitheaters were usually built in the mountains. In here we do not have them. We have a piece of flat land in here, so we were in need of, let's say, creating something additional, which is that you're having a regular stage set on the island, on another artificial island, and you have the audience set on the mainland. In between the stage and the mainland, between the stage and the audience, you're having a narrow strip of water, which the surface of this water reflects the waves of sound. Yeah, I was just expecting. Yeah, exactly. Just waiting for boom. But coming back to the structure to the left. This is the Ujazdowski Castle, and that is a place that was used as a temporary headquarters of the Polish kings just when the capital city was moved from Krakow to Warsaw. You're going to take a look at the Polish House of Parliament here, the one which is having a round roof, a round shape, and there is a Polish flag on the top. So we are having lower chamber and the upper chamber, but before I'll tell you who's working there. When something goes really wrong inside, then due to the shape of the structure, we're saying that this is our Polish circus, and that we are having really well-trained clowns, the clowns employed. But of course it's something that is, that such jokes, maybe not exactly the ones, but similar with the meaning. We are having the P and W letters visible. The P and W which are combined into one symbol. So P letter stands for Poland and W stands for fighting or for war. War here. The second type, these are of course such buildings like to the right side of yours, you're seeing the Sheraton Hotel, the regular modern style architecture. And as well, we are right now going throughout the roundabout of Charles de Gaulle. So Charles de Gaulle was a very big supporter of this Polish independence case, and due to this, he was just having this roundabout called after his name. It is the most representative one in a city. If you take a look to the right, you're having the monument of Nikolai Copernicus. And Copernicus is the most recognizable Polish astronomer. Very, very nice conducted in here. It's going to be law, psychology, philosophy, and history. It's 1 out of 5 large. And just attached to the Bristol, we are having the Presidential Palace visible. The Presidential Palace is a place where the Polish president is working. There is a Polish flag waving on the top, white and red colors. It includes white symbolizes something pure and innocent, while red symbolizes a love to your home place or blood that was given to defend its borders. So just in one moment, you're going to have a great number of colorful houses visible to your right. That is already going to be the Old Town territory. The Old Town is a place that we will be visiting just after our visit in a ghetto. So just right now we're going to skip the Old Town, and after a visit in the Jewish part, the Jewish section of the city, we're going to come back into this place to have a walk throughout its territory.
The story about the ghetto in Warsaw. How was it organized from, let's say, the very beginning, how it was, and what was... So the one to the left is 17 and the one to the right is 19 years old. So these are not regular macho men, these are just youngsters, these are not regular soldiers. Then the top part of the monument presents a woman, she's holding a child, and in the background you're having flames or smoke presented, and then to the bottom you're having an older guy who's preparing for a fight, and then you're having a dead man lying under their feet. So the symbolical meaning of this monument is such: it doesn't matter if you are a boy or a girl, it does not matter if you are 20, 40, 60 or 80 years old. It does not matter if you are a carpenter, a lawyer, a rocket scientist, or a plumber. If you are a Jew and you live in a ghetto, then you need to face the same fate that everyone does, and this fate is death from the Nazi hands.
Yellow and red colors. If you'll take a look to the right side of yours, you're having a tram going. It's painted in yellow and red. If you're going to notice any kind of bus, if you'll take a look at the buses, then they're going to have yellow and red colors visible as well. Alright, we have reached the Old Town. Right now I would like us to get outside from the coach. I would like us to go for a walk throughout the place, and I would like to tell you a few words about the oldest part of Warsaw. This is the St. Anne's Church to the right, one of the most lovely churches to visit. Normally I'm having at least one mask at the back. All of you together. So in that case you're having one very easy way from the Old Town. If you would like to, if, for instance, you're hesitating, shall I stay or shall I go? But if I'll stay, then I'll come back. So an answer, very easy way of coming back to your place is such. Just along with that little side of yours, you're having defensive walls. Every single thing that you see, everything, is not older than 60. This is what you get. And even though we have everything rebuilt in such a way, so you cannot tell what is the original and what is reconstruction, then my hint is just simply to you, so you can have your own opinion.
Can you restart it? Because we didn't.
I believe you do not really need me to comment that's what you see here. So, briefly, because these guys in here, all the works are, and it's not going to be supporting. So, we are having the old market square here, that thing what you see to your right. And then, if I were to point out a place that we are standing, then this is exactly the one here. So, we have the situation that every single thing in here that you see is almost fully destroyed during the war. It is over 90% of the old town that is not usable anymore.
There's always one with
morning and welcome aboard of our flight to Frankfurt, also on behalf of Deutsche Lufthansa and the entire crew. I'm a captain. My name is Max Werner. We're ahead of time. I expect that we are going to leave here in a few moments and take you fast to our destination. The weather at Frankfurt, it's cloudy from time to time. There's some rain. And I wish you a pleasant journey with us. Thank you.
to Frankfurt, ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until we have reached our final parking position and the fasten seatbelt signs have been switched off. Captain Werner and the entire crew would like to say goodbye to you. Thank you for traveling with Lufthansa today. We wish you now a nice remaining day and we say thank you and goodbye.
Wir bitten um Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Passagiere gebucht auf Lufthansa, Star Alliance, Flug LK50 nach Hannover werden zum Flugsteig A60 gebeten. May we have your attention please? All passengers booked on Lufthansa, Star Alliance, flight LH502 Hanover are requested to proceed to gate A60.
Flight to Chicago. Flight time will be approximately 8 hours and 15 minutes. Please fasten your seatbelts now and pull them tight. And please switch off your mobile telephones right now. You may use the cell phone as flight mode when we reach our cruising altitude. entertainment system on the base of audio and video on demand.